So I've been away for about a week or so. As you can see, the yard sort of looks like a meadow right now. But I'm back, and as usual, there's 101 projects to try and conquer, and trying to just put them in order as to what's most important. Should be the house, but it seems to be like in the middle towards the end. But right now, I left off last. I guess the last video you guys saw was maybe the fill in the raised garden beds with dirt or compost. Just in case you guys didn't see that video, you can go back and check it out. But I think at the very end, I did let you guys know that the soil mix that we used was just a mix of topsoil, nice screen sifted topsoil, some compost from my buddy's farm that was probably aged for a little over a year. And then we mixed about 2 cubic feet of peat moss in each bed. And that was just because the peat was a little more readily available for a better price than I could get like vermiculite. But I got all the beds filled. As a matter of fact, so when I was gone for the week, it looks like the beds that I did first, like the first 6 or 10 beds, looks like I have like the most beautiful, cover crop ever growing in it right now. But one of the most important things that we need to get done in order to even plant the garden out is to get a gate on the garden so that we don't have to worry about the deer, hanging out in there, or the rabbits going in and doing their thing. So right now I'm kind of focused on trying to just get a set of, gate doors finished. I don't think I'm going to do anything super fancy, although I always say that and it'll be like semi-permanent, but I'm not going to do anything fancy. I basically have some leftover wood, some leftover pressure treated and pine. I know what's going to happen anyway. I'm pretty sure this is pressure treated, but now that I cut it, I'm sure it'll warp once I get it all together. But it'll do for now, and it'll give us sort of a gate to use for at least this season. I didn't think actually at this point that I was going to be able to get plants in the ground. We're pretty late in the season, and for seed starting, not that I couldn't do some starts and then do some fall planting, but most of that stuff's like direct sow unless you're doing like broccoli and stuff. But I didn't think I was actually going to make it this year, and we pushed really hard. And when I was down south, I kind of went to a place that I used to go to years ago that was sort of like a 10 for 10 veggies, which is a great deal. And they went from a really tiny selection when they first started offering vegetable plants to a massive selection of all kinds of stuff within the past bunch of years. But I'm not close there anymore. I just happened to be down that way and decided to stop in and grabbed like 10 or 15 plants. There was very slim pickings. I even said to the girl checking out when she said, how many you have, and I told her, I said, I scrounged up that many, and she goes, I'm actually surprised you're able to get that much with what's left back there. So veggies are kind of gone, at least starts. I didn't really start anything seed-wise because I didn't even think we'd have a garden this year. But the reason I say this is that I did pick up a handful of plants, a couple tomatoes, and some leftover, long hots and some other peppers. But my neighbor's friend was so nice and passed along to us a bunch of her leftover plants that I guess she just couldn't fit in the garden. And while I was away, I got a picture of these plants, and I really couldn't see much, but I just said yes. I jumped right on them, whatever they are. If we can use them, that's great. We'll put them in the ground. And when I finally got back yesterday, my neighbor was kind enough, her and her husband, to drive over to our house and leave the plants for us in the garden area. And there was quite a lot of peppers and tomatoes, which is great because that's pretty much what I wasn't able to get or get started earlier. So it's kind of nice that we'll have a bunch of peppers and some tomatoes to put in the ground, as well as, some of the oddball stuff that I was able to bring back. And then we're going to seed start a bunch of root crops and stuff like that. So it looks like we're going to be able to get some stuff in the ground this year, is basically what I'm trying to say. And with that comes a need for the gate. So I'm going to just get jumping on these, and I thought I'd bring you guys along real quick. Like I said, I'm basically using some leftover wood that I had sitting up at the top of the driveway for at least the last couple of years. I basically just took my time kind of measuring out which door. Basically, I have about a 9-foot opening down there. I was going to try and do all kinds of different things. I just decided to split it pretty much 50-50. So these are 4.5-foot doors. They're 60 inches high. I'm going to basically attach the wire welded wire fencing to the front of these, and then I'll leave maybe like a 2-inch overflow at the bottom as like a sweep for the garden. I don't have any bolts long enough to kind of like countersink and go in from the bottom. So right now what I'm going to do is just use the Craig jig to basically jig these pieces all together like I would normally do like a picture frame. And then I'm going to go back with whatever I have, some leftover plywood. If I have some boards, that would be great. But if I just have to use plywood for now, I'm just going to do it. But I'm just going to make some like gusset corner plates for each of the frames to give them a little bit of integrity. And then hopefully if I can make the gusset long enough, you know, a little angle cut, and put the gussets on each 4 corners, I can just fit maybe 2 hinges and 2 hinges to go onto the post down at the garden. So that's my general idea right now. And then, you know, if I can just get them up, get them sturdy, they're not sagging or anything like that, I'll be happy at least for this season, just so that I have doors on the garden. But I'm gonna get jumping and see how much I can get done today. There's a lot of projects, like I said, along with just your normal day-to-day, like mowing the lawn, and we've got to get to start splitting some wood. I've been saying that for the last few weeks, but aside from all that, you know, obviously we have all the house stuff that I mentioned in each video, but we're just trying to keep the videos coming so that there's something to watch. So I'm going to jump at it, like I said, 5 times already, and then I'll bring you guys back along the process, or at least when I get them all put together and bring them down to the garden, I'll bring you guys back. But catch up with you guys in a little bit. Peace. The gates are pretty much finished. Got the gussets all mounted, the little corner supports, and then I threw the welder wire on the front. And then I just trying to use everything that I have for free. So as much as I'd rather not use regular door hinges, you know, I figured if I put 4 on each side with some nice screws and then lag it real nice into the weather treated post down in the garden, they should stand up nice and straight. You know, if I can come across some barn hinges down the road, maybe I'll switch them out. But for now, you know, if I can get these up, it'll basically means that I was able to build both fence gates for nothing. So I'm gonna load them up on the side-by-side along with some tools, and then I'm gonna head down to the garden. So I'll see you guys down in the garden. We'll get these things mounted and see how I made out. Hey, good morning. So I wasn't able to finish the gate last night. I got everything hung, and basically I think I ran out of storage or ran out of battery, but it started to rain anyway, so it was a good time to kind of pack everything up and just call it a night. But I just put a little latch on there last night to hold the gate closed, and then I spent last night trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I just kind of threw something together this morning, and I think it turned out half decent. Just your typical style latch, and then just put a little dowel on there as a handle, but it closes nice, or at least it closes nice now until it rains and everything swells. But I didn't have a carriage bolt long enough to get through for the handle, so I just used a little cabinet screw to kind of hold it with a washer so it would spin. But it works out nice. And what I think you guys didn't get to see yesterday was I did put like a little, this right-hand door is going to be basically a stationary door. If we need to take a tractor in there down the road, we can open both doors. But I'll take you on the backside real quick and show you what I did on the backside to keep the door shut. Okay, so for right now, I just kind of made myself a little, gate stake, just with some half-inch conduit straps and a piece of rebar. And then I just banged an inch or a half-inch piece of EMT into the ground. I just used an old piece of rebar to bang into the ground to make the hole. And then I cut a piece of half-inch EMT about maybe 16, 18 inches and slammed it down to about 2 inches. And it works out nice. It kind of has a nice fit when it turns like that. So it keeps the gate really nice and strong. And then all you got to do is sort of lift it like a normal pin. And you can just basically open the gate. I got to cut the front, or at least knock that pipe down at least another maybe half an inch to clear the bottom of the gate. But that's basically all that happens. And then once I cut this, I won't have to do that. And then it just goes back in. And then when it turns, it has like a nice tight feel to it. But yeah, that's it. And that worked out nice to hold the door shut. Like I said, whenever we need it, we can just pull it. But I didn't feel like buying something, so I basically just bent the rebar up on the sawbuck. I put it in one of the pipe ends and just bent it by hand. And then just a couple straps and we were good to go. And then that's how we did the back. That's how we did the back of the gates. And then there are the hinges, just 4 regular door hinges. And I think they turned out half decent. I mean, I had them, so that's why I used them. And then same on this side. And then I think what I'll do is just maybe throw a chain on the gate, and then maybe like a little O-ring on the back of the door to hold the door open when we're in here. But for the most part, I think it turned out nice. And obviously we feel a lot better planning everything now so that we don't have to worry about critters getting in here and eating all the veggies. So now it's basically time to get weeding and planting. You think the compost is rich in nitrogen? I mean, that's literally just the compost growing. So I'll pull all those weeds. I don't want to turn anything over like a cover crop because I really don't have time for it to kind of decay. But yeah, I'm just going to go back and kind of pull everything. It rained yesterday, so it should be easy to kind of pull everything out. And then I've got about maybe 30 plants to put in the ground. And we ordered some asparagus crowns that are going to go in the back 3 beds. And then we also got a few varieties of strawberries that will end up going maybe in these beds up here. But just some perennials to get started with. And then obviously the tomatoes and the peppers and some cabbage and stuff like that. And then we'll direct sow a bunch of other stuff. But I'm just happy to have the gate done. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the gate video. Very excited. One less thing for Dana and I to have to do and another project off the list. Plus, we can plant out the garden and not have to worry about the deer and the other critters getting there and eating everything. So very happy with how they turned out. But a ton more to do today. I got a lot of lawn to mow and a lot of rocks to start cleaning up. And I definitely have a few more things that need to happen inside here before I can start planting tomatoes and peppers. But I appreciate you guys, as always, stopping by and checking out the channel, checking out the videos. If this is your first time stopping by the ShabinLife, welcome. It is the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day, happy 4th. I hope you guys are all out there enjoying the day. Fortunately, it looks like it's going to be pretty nice, so hopefully it's good weather for everybody everywhere. But I guess until the next video, man, everybody stay fly, and we will catch you later, man. Peace.